let's keep it going. This next guy, please be nice to him. He's new to the convention circuit. No, he's just a kid. I don't know, maybe you know him, who knows? Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Misha. He's
Yeah, the numbers.
The no physical touching rule has actually created an intense intimacy between us. The fact that we can almost touch lets us explore areas of one another that we never had before.
Sure. So
I recently got a dog, and I noticed that they do a lot of exploring of one another.
Yeah.
It's like, how did that cultural behavior become normalized amongst dogs?
Right.
Because when I try to do that with you guys,
why is that weird? It shouldn't
why
be
is
weird.
that like
I should know what's going on down there.
I just wanted to sort of set the bar low to start here.
I think
How is
dogs are onto
everybody?
something. Have fun, Misha.
Okay, great, bye. Boy, they wanted to get out of here. I think they heard me coughing earlier. Have there been a lot of Corona jokes already this weekend? Yeah. Tired of them? Yeah. No, someone's like, no, I love Corona humor. Well, it's so lovely to see you all. Missed you. Hi. Tempting as that is. Well, this is awkward. A lot of people looking at me. We're doing a whole projector thing now, huh? That's cool. So Supernatural is a show that's ending. And this is the last convention that we are going to have while the show is still shooting. And that's sad.
Why we drink.
I wonder if I can just make you all feel depressed after this panel. I don't know if they're laughing at me or something someone in the audience said. They called me an asshole? Wow. Oh, an ass butt. I've never seen an audience turn into a mob so quickly. We had a very late night of shooting last night, followed by a sort of catastrophic airplane malfunction that led to an emergency landing and fire trucks and no sleep whatsoever. So you'll have to bear with me as I sort of get melancholy about the fact that the show is ending. We had a very emotional, we had a very emotional scene that we shot last night. We're starting the process on the show of saying goodbyes. And it's really hard. Okay, that's all. I just wanted to have a little bit of therapy with you. You're here for? Oh, thank you. As the plane was going down. No, everything's okay, everybody's fine. But as the plane was going down, when we got within range, we had to turn around for an emergency landing, and we had to circle out over the water so that there was enough time for the fire trucks to get on the tarmac. And as we were going down, we were all sort of texting, like, oh, I love you, tell the kids they're mine, and then... And Jensen was like, guys, there's 3 engines on the plane, it's fine. Pilots could land this plane with no engines. We're totally fine, nothing to worry about. And then we land and get on the pavement, and Jensen's like, I'm never flying again. He held it together for just long enough, and then he's like, I'm out. Do you have a question for me?
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, my question is, what was the worst prank that Jared and Jensen ever played on you?
So I think it was like season 7. They pretended they were friends with me.
Oh, did they though?
And they really got me. The worst prank? I mean, honestly, it seems small, but when I was directing, so mercifully, when I was directing, Jared had a cold. So he just wasn't he wasn't as energetic as he normally is, and that really spared me. But Jared and Jensen, before I directed, spent a lot of time prepping what they were gonna do to ruin my experience. And I kept on getting tips from people like, hey man, don't let anyone near your car keys. Or, hey man, make sure that no one is allowed into your apartment. And because they had planned all sorts of things that they were gonna do to sabotage my week. And they did little things along the way. Like we have these director's chairs, which are like about this high, but they have canvas seats and canvas backs. And Jared would take the canvas off the wood and then rest it over the wood. And I'd have my headphones on and I'd be looking at the monitor and I'd come and I'd go and just hit the floor. And I probably did that 4 times. So there were little things like that, that have caused permanent back problems. But there was this one time when I was right outside the Men of Letters stage, and that's where the monitors were, and I was watching, and Jared and Jensen were doing a little scene. They were talking across the table, and Jared kept messing up his lines, and I was like, Jared never messes up his lines. Okay, go again, keep rolling, go again. Jared messed up again, and I was like, okay, go again. Jared messed up again, and he's like, sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me. And I was like, all right, cut. And I opened the door to the Men of Letters to go in and talk to Jared and see what was wrong. And that's when he pied me in the face.
Oh.
And he was so excited about it. I understand this, but he was so excited that he really put his hips into it. Oh. And so it was like, boom, and it took the wind out of me. But it was also just like awful and humiliating. It was a whipped cream pie and it just sort of exploded into all of my facial cavities. And like I'm still, you know, a little congested from it 7 years later. But Jensen was like, everybody laughed and they were filming it. But then the crew felt bad, and then Jensen felt bad, and he was like, sorry man, here, let me grab a shirt. He brought me a shirt from his trailer so I could at least change, and a towel, and I wiped off. And I was like, thank you. And then we went outside, and we were going to lunch, and Jensen said, hey Misha, and I turned around, and boom! He pied me in the face too. That was sweet. Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
So I just wanted to tell you that I think your poetry is really, really beautiful, and I'm really happy that you share it with us. And I was just wondering what inspires you to write, and if you would ever release your own book by chance?
Well, actually, I was thinking about releasing someone else's book. As a first foray into poetry, I'm going to publish some of Mary Oliver's poems. I don't know what inspires writing for me. I think a lot of times, like poems, for instance, for some reason, often come to me while I'm running or while I'm doing something else, like the germ of a poem will come then. But I do like writing poems for some reason. But I don't know quite what the inspiration is. Mostly I like to write about very mundane things, like little moments, because I think that there's some profundity in the minutia of daily life. But thank you, that's very kind of you, and yes, I would like to publish a book of poetry, just to get the poems off my laptop. Cool. Thank you. Hi.
Hi, Misha. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here.
My question is, have you gotten to work with Jen and Daniil yet? And if so, what was it like?
They were all over me. It was a little creepy, like super handsy. And it just made me uncomfortable. They're lovely human beings, and yes, I recently worked with both of them. I got the sweetest text from Daniil today. It actually made me tear up. It was just such a loving, sweet text. I think it was partly because she thought her husband was going to die. And that brings out some qualities in people. But yeah, yes, I've worked with them and love them both. Yeah, thanks. Hi.
Hello. I was wondering, since you just announced that you have a dog, I was wondering what the adoption story of Hazel is.
Oh, it's an announcement, is it? Hazel was living with a family that was moving to Europe and had 2 other dogs, and for whatever reason, they couldn't bring them all. So Hazel is basically a hand-me-down animal.
Aww.
I guess a reject. But she's so cute, and she's very sweet. She's a very sweet personality, and she loves the smell of other dogs' butts. But who doesn't? And she has this weird thing. She's obsessed with my face for some reason. So whenever I'm prone, she just gets on top of me and starts licking my face, and she doesn't do that to anyone else. It must be something, maybe like the stubble is satisfying on her tongue or something, but she is just like, it's pretty awful. Yeah. Yes.
Hi, Misha.
Thank you for that question. Hi.
Hi. So we know in canon that angels and demons can see each other's true faces. So what did Cass see when Dean was a demon?
Jared Padalecki. She's shaking her head like not satisfied with that answer. He can do better. What do you think he saw? A dog's butt?
Why are you the way you are?
This is awkward now. Can we take the next question? Are we allowed to move on? I wonder what. I've always pictured this is going to betray a certain basicness in my acting preparation, but I've always pictured sort of like just a desiccated zombie face for demons. But now I feel like I've missed an opportunity to imagine something completely different. Like it could be the face of a unicorn. Could be anything. Shit. I botched that one. Am I good? I don't know. I may not have the opportunity to imagine another demon face on Supernatural. Oh my God, that's been so heartbreaking. I'm taking all these pictures of the lasts on Supernatural. And it's so sad. This will be, this is the last time that Jared is gonna fondle my balls with a broom handle.
Not necessarily.
There's no other opportunity in another upcoming script for him to do this. So I know that this is the last. Thank you for that conversation.
Hi, Misha. I really appreciated the Adventurous Eaters Club book. I thought it was really great. It was a wonderful read. And I wonder if you can recommend a nutritious meal that would help Sam and Dean come out on top in the end.
They're both bottoms, but
What did you do?
I think I'll just leave it at that. I feel terrible taking a question about a children's cookbook and turning it in that direction. Yes. You have a question?
Hi, Misha.
Hi.
My question to you is, since Jack got back, do you think Jack and Death has a plan for God?
Yeah, maybe. Are you asking for a spoiler?
No. Just a little. Just a little.
No, she's not asking for a spoiler, or no, you don't want to hear a spoiler?
Go on.
It's literally like having an angel and a demon on your shoulder. Do it! Don't do it! Do it! We'll kill you. That was the angel. We'll kill you. Why do you think that?
It's just the way the two looked in the empty, how she brought him back, and then she's like, let's go, Jack. I just figured she has a plan for him.
Well, I haven't read any of the scripts, so I don't know. But I think you're probably right. I think you're right. I'm gonna guess you're right. You're right. Hi.
Hi, Misha.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks.
So I am here with a good chunk of my Gish team.
Oh my goodness.
And
Big team.
unfortunately, my young niece was not able to come to this trip, but she joins our team every year, and it was her birthday last week. So I promised her I would ask you a question for her about Gish.
Okay.
So we were wondering if there was a Gish item that you have been wanting to see end up in the hunt and it hasn't made the cut, or if there's one that you're really hoping to see happen next year.
Well, I can't tell you one that I would put in the hunt next year because that would ruin it. It would give you a head start. I would say I actually do. There are a lot of items that I have been like, oh, this will be amazing. Like an airplane carrying a boat. But then I put them in the hunt, and then everybody who has a pilot's license calls in and says, everyone's going to die if you do that. And then people say, you have to take that off the list because people are gonna die, which I think is like really short-sighted because you have to make sacrifices. The first item that fit into that category was, it was the first year of the hunt, and it was wrap yourself up in Christmas tree lights and stand on the peak of a roof. And the very first submission of that item came in, and it was at night, and there was someone standing on the peak of a 3-story roof, and it was steep and it was slate, and they were completely mummified in Christmas tree lights, standing there like this, teetering, balancing somehow magically on the peak of the roof. And I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, so many people are gonna die. And then other people were like, oh, we should probably take that item down, and so we did. But I sometimes have to, we have to apply a filter of maybe we can't do those things because they're gonna hurt people, or there was an item we did, which was this was when Putin had started pushing anti-homosexual legislation in Russia, and so we had an item which was have 2 people of the same sex kissing in front of the Kremlin. And then we had to take that down because people were like, they could go to jail, get arrested, and hurt for doing that. I know I'm not really answering your question, but this is a technique I use. Thank you.
Which of us goes first? I'll just go. Okay. You have said in previous panels that you don't know exactly what you're going to be doing after Supernatural ends. And I don't believe you.
I have a question for you. And let me start by saying, you're a liar.
So,
Okay, then tell me, what am I gonna be doing?
great, okay, I have plans.
I knew I shouldn't have let you talk first.
So, I think that you guys should start a production company utilizing everybody in the cast and crew who doesn't have plans made already.
Or transferable skills.
Oh, correct.
Right.
And
All of us.
I have multiple scripts that you guys could peruse.
Okay.
And, another idea that I thought you might be interested in.
Now, wait a minute, this is confusing because you said, you started this by saying that I was lying and that I did have plans, and then you started offering me a bunch of alternative plans. But if I actually have plans, I'm not interested in your proposals.
I was simply trying to throw you off guard.
Ah,
so that I
well,
can
you
work
did.
yeah.
You did. Now you've got me interested in these scripts.
Well, you feature
And
prominently in
this
some of them.
supernatural welfare program that you've devised. It's a job training, job subsidy welfare program for anyone who's worked on Supernatural. It's one of those big safety net programs that Republicans rail against, but ultimately is necessary if you don't want more people on the streets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. But what are your actual plans?
Oh. Are you tricking me into revealing what I'm going to do just so I don't have to do your scripts?
I can't reveal that.
Foiled again. I don't know. I really don't. I'm going to try to take some time off. I think the coronavirus will help with that because everyone is going to be sequestered in their homes. I live in Washington, where the governor has said don't have gatherings of more than 10 people at the moment. State of emergency in that state. So yeah, maybe we'll be playing a lot of board games for a little while. I am interested in politics. I'm interested in, there's a certain political figure that I'd like to see do something else for a living. What's that? You know, that's not my real name. It's Crushnick. It just doesn't have a great ring. Crushnick, nobody's going to vote for a Crushnick for president. Ugh. That sounds awful. Yeah, so.
So you're not going to answer the question?
No.
Okay.
I recently, like, sort of publicly said online that there was a candidate that I was supporting, and I got so much blowback for stating that position. It was really interesting to observe. But I was making a very calculated decision, and I thought about it a lot before sort of publicly stating that, and it's because I am really, that's all I want to do is make sure that we don't have the same president twice, because I just like change. And my motivation was really like thinking that this is the person that has the best chance of winning, not necessarily the person that, you know, if I could pick anyone out of a hat, I'm just going to say it to you privately. That's running on the Democratic ticket, I would pick Elizabeth Warren. But Elizabeth Warren is not going to win. She's pulled out of the race, and it was clear that was being telegraphed weeks ago. Like, we knew that she wasn't going to actually make it to the finish line. So it's like this tricky calculus that has to go into politics, which is actually really insidious and kind of awful, and yet, in a strange way, at the moment, the game that you have to play, I don't know. It's funny, I mean, it's an interesting question because I got into acting because I wanted to get into politics. I interned at the White House because I wanted to make a difference in the world, and I thought I would go into politics, and that's how I was going to do it. And I interned in the Clinton administration, and what I saw sort of behind the curtain, I was like, ugh. And I didn't see all the way behind the curtain. But what I saw was really discouraging, and I thought, oh my God, I don't want to go through this system to like try to affect change. I want to, maybe I'll do something, maybe I'll find another way to have a positive impact. And I thought, I know, I'll go get on the CW. It didn't exist at the time, the network, but I thought I'll try to like gain a little bit of celebrity and then parlay that into some sort of influence. And then, yeah, sorry about that term. That's a very inside joke. But and then I kind of forgot about it, actually, for years, and I just became an actor for the sake of becoming an actor. And then the political sea change happened, you know, several years ago, and I became reactivated and realized, oh, I'm ready to try to, like, at least, I don't know, use whatever, you know, small bit of influence that that one can garner from being on a CW show, you know, into, you know, having some impact on that to whatever extent possible. But it is a daunting process and a sticky machine. I really don't, excuse me for that.
That wasn't me.
Still, there's more inside jokes here. Jared and I had a riff at a convention 3 years ago or something about influence, where influence was a euphemism for bodily secretion. And that's what I'm referencing right now, and I'm sorry, it's all muddled and awful. I apologize for that. She is facing the wall and kneeling. She completely gave up. Are you praying? What the fuck happened to our conversation? We're done? You cut me off? That went well. Thank you. Hi.
Hello, Misha. First of all, I want to say as a high school English teacher, I can tell you that you have made a huge impact on the lives of a lot of students when it comes to getting involved in politics and change in general. So I want to say thank you for that.
Well, thanks for saying that.
And even though I come from Buttigieg country, I'll forgive you for the Warren thing. But my question is, I happen to use a lot of casteisms, I think, in my own personal life, like things that you've said as cast, and I just wondered, is there one line that you just love to use, or that you have found yourself using?
I'll just wait here then. I'll go and interrogate the cat.
That was the episode where you said about you found a liquor store and you drank it, came on today.
Oh, that came on today?
And we were talking about quotes, and I said, yeah, that's the one I like to use. That one, it is not of import. That's the other one.
Oh, it's not of import. I found a liquor store and I drank it. Sir, have you been drinking? I found a liquor store and I drank it. Step out of the car, sir. Do you have other favorites?
My people skills are rusty.
Oh, yeah. They really are.
I know, right?
Not yours, mine. Sorry.
No, there are a lot of them, and the students just think it's hilarious that I can quote them, but I even got a journal, I think last year, that said my people skills are rusty from one of the students, so yes. Not with them, the students are fine. My people skills with them are fine.
Is that like a performance review?
Is it a performance review?
People skills are rusty.
Well, no, I have been mentioned when I've mentioned something, and I'll, go on a tangent, and then I'll go, it's not of import, never mind.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Hi.
Hi, Misha. Nice to see you again.
Good to see you.
I got a question for you. If you were running for office, please, what's the favorite thing you've done that they would use against you?
There's actually a book that's been written about that. I mean, to be honest with you, one of the things that I've thought about, because I have, occasionally ruminated on the possibility of running for office or for, something, and I think about the things that I've said in these panels that are all on YouTube, and to figure out how to collectively scrub those would be harder than containing the coronavirus in China. It's impossible. I've said really terrible things, even in this panel today. So that would be a challenge. But I think that there's such a volume of offensive material that it might all just drown itself out. So that's my strategy at this point. But yeah, I do have favorite things that I won't talk about. Hi.
Hi, Misha. So there are so many reasons that the fandom loves you. You're acting, you're not terrible to look at. But I have to be careful, my husband and my kids are here. But I think that...
Do they get offended when you talk about my acting?
But I think that the kindness that you share in the world and the changes that you're trying to make in the world have been wonderful. So if you had the power to make one social change in the world, what would it be and why?
I was actually, I have this habit, there's a coffee shop in Bellingham, Washington that I go to, and when I remember, which is most of the time, I pay for whoever is behind me in line. And recently, I paid for whoever was behind me, and it was somebody in a rusty old pickup truck. And then the person at the cash register was like, "Are you sure you want to pay for this? Because it's $150 at a coffee shop." And I guess they were like buying lunch for all of Amazon headquarters or something. And I was like, no, I don't need to pay for that, it's fine. But it happened to me recently. I got up there to the front of the line and I was ready to pay for the person behind me, and somebody had paid for my coffee. And I was like, oh, that feels so nice. It feels so good to have somebody have this moment of magnanimity, this generosity that's out of the blue. And I thought as I was driving away, wouldn't it be nice if all of our transactions were like that? Like everywhere you went, somebody else was paying for your stuff or being thoughtful toward you. And that could be potentially a cultural dynamic that we have, because if you think about it, we're all drinking about the same amount of coffee. So we could all be paying for somebody else's coffee if we could trust that somebody else would be paying for ours, There is a version of this world where generosity and thoughtfulness could just sort of percolate through our everyday transactions. And that would be amazing, I think. Because I noticed that when I remember to pay for somebody behind me, I'm buoyed by it for a little while. And I was also buoyed by it when somebody did it for me. And frankly, when I just buy my own coffee, it just feels like I'm throwing money away. So you're getting more value for your dollar if you buy somebody else's coffee. And that, I think, could be really lovely.
Hello. So I was just wondering, what do you think Castiel's lowest point was in terms of morals? Like the worst choice that he made?
I mean, he has done some pretty depraved shit. It all was off camera, but it was pretty twisted. I think, I don't really remember that much of this show, but I feel like when Cass sort of succumbed to being God, like there was this ego that welled up, and the power, the rush of power corrupted him. Because it was a weird amalgamation of some version of God and Cass himself at that time. I think Cass got swept up in the ego of it. Does that sound right to you? I think that was probably his nadir.
That seems about right.
Yeah. It was either that or when he ate that bowl of ground meat out of a dog bowl on the floor. That was tough. Or when he talked to the prostitute about her father. Yeah, he's had a lot of valleys. Hi.
Hi. I think most of us saw the tweet of Andrew Dabb today that you retweeted as well. When you saw that tweet, I don't know if you've read this or seen the script yet, but what did you think or feel?
I did. I have read and seen the script. It's hilarious. It's not hilarious. I think there'll be a lot of tears. They're going to be a lot. There are already tears on set at Supernatural headquarters, and I think that's going to continue for some time. And then I'm hoping that the audience will cry too. I'm pretty sure they will. Yep. What do you want me to say?
I don't know. I think we were all very moved by this tweet.
By the end?
Yeah.
The,
So we want to just have your support, I guess.
yeah, I can't wait to see how everyone receives the end of the show. I'm really curious to see how it goes down. Because it's both sad and redemptive, I think.
Thank you.
Okay. A smattering of applause for sad and redemptive.
Hi Misha, there's a few of us come over from England.
Hi.
And we're all fans of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. We've asked this question to a couple of the other actors today and was wondering if you could cast a musical using only SPN actors, who would play who?
Oh my goodness. I haven't seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show in 20 years. I have no idea. I know Meatloaf is in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Who? Oh, and Tim Curry. Yeah. I think I'm not going to get anywhere on this. How have other people performed? I noticed Mark Pellegrino mopped the floor, but then I thought maybe he was studying in advance because he really knew all the characters. Do you have feelings about this?
Yeah, we kind of thought that you would either play Brad, which Mark said, or the lead role of Frankenfurter.
The sweet transvestite?
Yeah.
Aww. Or the sparrow. Or both.
See you in tights.
We had a Supernatural Christmas party. I want to say season 6 or something, a really long time ago. And Jensen was Santa, and Jared was Mrs. Claus, and I was an elf. And I was wearing very short elf shorts and green tights. It was not a flattering look. Fishnets? Okay, yeah, you're taking this in a different direction, but I should watch the show again. I'll watch it again, and then I will get back to you. Never. Perfect, thank you. Yes, hello.
Hi, Misha. I have a question on if you could invite anyone, living, dead, fictional, or real, to dinner. Who would it be, and what would you cook for them?
Well, anyone. It's basically anyone I can conceive of.
Yeah, really anybody.
I think I would invite over Donald Trump, and I would serve him humility. And I think it would be very delicious and nutritious. Either that or... No, I keep on coming up with really lurid ideas. It might be nice to have dinner with Sam and Dean one last time and have a slice of pie with those guys. Wouldn't that be nice? It would be kind of interesting. This is something that we've actually been talking about, but these characters for us they've been inhabiting us for so long that they literally have become a part of us. So when Cass has an emotional scene, it's weirdly like I don't feel like I'm acting anymore. I know that's so bizarre to say, but it's been so long of doing the same thing that it's sort of become like an aspect of myself. And it really would be interesting to actually have these characters, stripped of the actors who play them, sit down and have a meal together and actually experience that. And we've talked about that. Like, these characters have started to feel so real for us that as we're approaching the end and you know, the demise of these characters, we're actually like mourning the passing of parts of ourselves. It's very bizarre. I know I took that in a weird direction, and I'm sorry.
Okay.
But it's something we've been thinking about.
Thank you.
Hi, Misha.
Hi.
So I bought your cereal for you to sign later, but I was wondering, have you ever tried it? Because...
No, I haven't, but I know that it's very nutritious. It's just sugar cereal, right?
Yes, and I find it a lot of fun that they made a Castiel cereal when they could have made Impalos, like instead, but they made a Castiellos.
Actually, I don't know why I don't just have that like glued to the ceiling above my bed. I feel like I've really made it now, having a Castiel cereal. That's real, isn't it?
Yeah. It's unopened.
It's unopened?
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of Corona. I'll taste it. Are you gonna save it forever?
Well, if I could trade for something, I'd like you to see
I love how we suddenly started haggling here. Okay, we'll leave it that. We'll leave it that. Keep it forever. It never rots. Hi.
Hi, Misha. So I work at Starbucks, and I want to let you know we do get a lot of those transactions where someone will pay for someone else's drink, and then it just creates this chain reaction. But on that note, I wanted to ask, what is your go-to coffee drink or Starbucks drink?
Well, I've been trying to keep my cholesterol down, so I've been trying to go for oat milk or almond milk. But Starbucks doesn't have oat milk, does it? No, it doesn't. Some do, some don't? All right. She says no.
Some do, but it's kind of a testing thing that they're working on, so it's not released
It's
yet.
not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oat milk latte. What about you?
I like blonde white mochas.
I don't know what that is. I always hear people say long, short, dry, wet. What the hell is that?
So the blonde espresso is different from the regular espresso in the sense that it's kind of more sweet, naturally, and it also has more caffeine than the regular espresso.
What does?
It has more caffeine.
No, it's long?
Blonde.
Blonde.
Blonde espresso, yeah.
I thought you said long.
No, blonde.
Cool. So, but long and short, so like a long pull, is that something that you do?
Yes.
No, that's maybe at a bar.
That has, we have this, that has more water.
Okay.
Whereas like Risotto shots are the opposite.
And then what's
It's
dry and wet?
Those are for cappuccinos, mostly.
Okay, so wet would be more milk?
Liquid, yeah.
Oh my God, why didn't I know that? Okay, thank you. It's been helpful. Hi.
Hi, Misha. I was wondering if you had met, if you, Jared, and Jensen had met as high schoolers versus adults, do you think you would have been as good of friends as you are now?
I feel like I did meet them as high schoolers. We were basically high schoolers. We were technically older than high school, but our behavior was very high school when we met. I was 33 or 34 when I started on the show, and we would get into like vicious wrestling matches on the floor all the time, like children. And I remember we were just talking about this last night. Jared used to come onto the set, and he would just like rip something off the wall and throw it. It was like he was a like giant puppy with opposable thumbs, and he'd just come in and destroy things. And so yeah, the answer is yes, I think so, because I think that we actually met in that state of arrested development, and are basically still high schoolers. Having kids changes things a little bit. I think we're a tiny bit more grown up than we used to be, ever so slightly. Yeah. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
My question is about Gish, and I was wondering if you've ever considered doing a younger version for under 14 for kids to participate in being weird and fun and doing acts of kindness, because I think that's a great age to teach them that stuff.
Great idea. I don't know why. I think there's some like insurance thing or something that is the reason that we don't have kids participating. But maybe it's just we're afraid of their power. I'm not sure, I don't even remember. I want to look into this. Because I actually think Gish could be an amazing thing for schools to get involved with. Like, have schools compete against one another doing these things. Because it's part technical, it's part research, it's part art, it's part, community activism and kindness. It could be great for schools. And it could be an excellent distraction for kids. They could get out of class, which is great. Okay, thanks for the thought. Yeah. Hi. Class act. Yes, we do that. Who said that? There's a heckler in the back. We do have a program through Random Acts called Class Act, which is when classrooms can do acts of kindness or activism in their communities, and then get funded by Random Acts for what they're doing. So something for all of you teachers. How many teachers are in the room? Yeah, maybe check it out. Go onto our website. Also, if you're somebody who's here in Vegas, Random Acts is collecting donations. So maybe stop by the table and check it out, see how you can help out in the Vegas community. I'm trying to see who it is that's heckling me back there, but I can't really see. Now they're hiding. Everybody turned toward the wall. All right. Yes, hi.
Hi, Misha. I'm Melody, and this is my first Supernatural convention.
How's it going so far?
It's been great. Thank you for being here, even though you've had zero sleep.
Thank you for tolerating me, even though I've had zero sleep.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you if you would mind sharing any stories recently about your kids. I appreciate the vulnerability and openness that you've had about parenting your kids, and I think it's been great to see that.
My kids are growing up, which is really frustrating. Yeah. I've been getting emotional, as I mentioned on Supernatural, about thinking about the lasts, and a lot of them are, very mundane things like, oh, this is the last time that we're going to be on this location. or, you know, the last time that, maybe this is the last time Cass is gonna be in the Impala, or things like that. But I have also been thinking about that because of Supernatural. I've been thinking about that about my kids, and all of those little stages that children go through that are the last time that they're gonna do that. The other day, West and I were walking down the street, and I reached for his hand, and he kind of like, "Nyeh." And I realized, oh my gosh, he's 9. Maybe he doesn't want to hold my hand anymore. And it was all I could do to not well up at that moment. Because there are all of these fleeting moments that are lasts. I mean, in essence, every moment is really a last, but all of these fleeting moments that are last, and yet we almost never fail to recognize them for that when it happens. Like, if he doesn't hold my hand again, I'm not going to remember when the last time he did hold my hand was. And that fact is very heartbreaking for me. And I'm sorry, I'm too tired to not be an emotional wreck today. But it's something I've been thinking about with respect to the kids lately. Yeah. Like, there was a long stretch when Mason was like, "Dad, can you wipe me?" And I was like, "For fuck's sake, you can read. Why do you need me to wipe you? What's going on?" And now she doesn't do it, and I'm like, "Oh great, what am I, chopped liver?" I thought we had something here.
Some things that you don't.
Okay, good. Yes.
Hi, Misha. So I also am a middle school English teacher, and I've seen the same thing. You are having a tremendous impact on this next generation, so hats off to you for being a great role model. And it's actually my kids who bring me up here.
Your kids did what?
My students that kind of gave me the courage to come up here, and my daughters. Yes, but...
They're kind of bullies, huh?
So we have a lot of fun talking about the show, but what I found really inspiring and really cool is that they talk more about the inspiration that you guys are offset than even what you are on set. So I told them I would say hi, which I can't believe I'm actually having the opportunity to do that. But I also was wondering if you had some words of wisdom that I could bring back to them and share with them when I go back on Monday. Something inspirational for my 154 kiddos.
154 kids?
It's middle school. We get a lot of them in middle school, yes. And they all have, you know, middle school's tough. And you're kind of a bright light for them, so.
No pressure.
Well, I don't know. I would say maybe follow your passion. Do what makes you happy. And good things will follow. I still think that's true. I know it sounds really airy-fairy, but I think it's true. Doesn't mean that has to be your living or your vocation, but if you pursue things that give you joy in life, good things will come of it. I think a lot of times people end up thinking that they have to make their life a grind, and I don't think that that's true. Obviously, I'm not a great spokesperson for that because I've been working with Jared and Jensen for so long. And that's basically just pure suffering. I love that I've honed the capacity to turn a potentially sentimental and uplifting moment into just vitriol towards my castmates. Bitter hatred toward my castmates. We're gonna miss each other, you guys. I can't believe this is the last convention before Supernatural is done shooting. You're looking at you're gonna see a parade of broken emotional basket cases up here. I'm sorry. Can we get these people refunds? I like the applause. Yes, please. This is not fair. It's been such an incredible journey with you guys, and so grateful to have wandered into this fandom and this totally bizarre, cultish community. Can I call you right back? Okay, bye. That's my wife. She's still upset that I almost died. So, yeah, I guess I want to say thank you guys. You've made this a life-changing experience. We have met some of the closest people in our lives, and some of, we're closer than, you're closer to me than almost anybody in my life. Like this little cabal that we have behind the scenes, we're a really tight group. We've seen each other do some really horrible things. And I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for you guys, and deeply grateful for you all. I do need a nap, but I do want to say just thank you, like a deep well of gratitude here.
We love you, buddy. Love you. Ladies and gentlemen, Misha. All right, well, you got somewhere to be, obviously.